Trump versus Elon. Elon launches the America First Party. It was always going to end this way. I don't know why people act surprised that you have two alpha billionaires who disagree on stuff. One of the things about being an alpha is you think you are right, you want to lead. There's nothing wrong with that. So if we ever thought that Donald Trump and Elon Musk would be singing Kumbaya, you are mistaken.
I let you go. It's not a big secret that you had your differences with Elon Musk when he was working in the administration. He announced this weekend that he is starting a new political party. Does that worry the Trump administration?
Look, the principles of Doge were very popular. I think if you looked at the polling, Elon was not. So I believe that the boards of directors at his various companies wanted him to come back and run those companies, which he is better at than anyone. So I imagine that those board of directors did not like this announcement yesterday and will be encouraging him to focus on his business activities, not his political activities.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about Elon Musk, who is making news in political circles because he is allegedly starting a third party called the America Party. Now, I want to talk about this because I think that a more appropriate name for this party would be the Revenge Party, because that's the only reason that he's doing it, which I think is the primary reason why this is probably not going to be successful.
Now I'm going to react because there's quite a few things that I disagree with in this original video, but then there's also some things that it made me think about. But first and foremost, whether he's doing it for revenge or not, we've been crying out that we need a three-party system. I think a two-party system is problematic because people are tribal. A three-party system, if done the right way, can work. In other countries where they have parliamentary systems, you have a mishmash of different systems. So you have the two or three really powerful parties, and then you can end up with what's called a coalition government. I'm not saying we should move into that because I think that the American system is probably one of the best systems, but I do think that having a viable third option will call the two main parties to task. And I think that's what happens in the parliamentary type of MP UK type of government.
If revenge is actually what he's trying to get at, which I believe that's the main reason why he's starting this. And I want to explain it. I want to talk about it because a lot of people are freaking out about this, and they're claiming that this is going to make it easier for Democrats to win the House and to win some Senate seats in the midterm elections because Elon's party is going to take away votes from Republicans. Now, I want to pump the brakes on that theory because I actually don't believe that it is guaranteed that Elon's party is going to appeal to Republicans more than center-left Democrats. And I'm going to explain my theory here and what my gut feeling tells me in regards to why this is probably going to backfire, because I don't think that Elon is thinking clearly about this. He has not shown himself to be a very good political thinker, okay? And I know that Elon is a very smart guy.
Yeah, so maybe he's not a good political thinker, and I would probably agree with that. And maybe that's what we need. So we need someone who's just coming in there as a engineer, someone with an engineering mind to shake things up. Trump kind of did that as well, because Trump in his first administration, he wasn't that great a political thinker either. He was a businessman and still is. And some of the benefits that we've gotten from the Trump administration are because he doesn't think like a politician. He thinks like a business person, which is why people say he folds or Trump always caves in or whatever. But I think what he looks at is the political response to what he does in line with what his end goal is. And that's what we need, because you have a lot of politicians who are just career politicians. They've never built a business. They've never really contributed to society in the sense of creating jobs that people can feed their families. All they've ever done has been politicians. And so they're isolated, or I should say insulated, from a lot of the impacts of the things that they put in place. So Elon coming in and being someone that is not politically savvy, but it just has one goal, which is to make things better in his view. a lot of people will criticize him and say, well, because he's the richest man in the world, he'll do things and he doesn't care about anybody else. I think that's actually what motivates him. I think he realizes that, as he said in an interview a couple months back, if America fails, he fails. If America fails, he won't be the richest man in the world. So sometimes selfish motivations will drive us to doing things that actually work out well, even if on the surface or in the time or in the moment it doesn't seem that way.
When it comes to organizations, when it comes to technical stuff, when it comes to tech, when it comes to space, traditional entrepreneurship, amazing. Politics, not so much, because politics is a relationship driven business. Okay. And Elon found out that although the politicians are in fact prostitutes, they're escorts. They're not street hookers, right? Elon
That's a great point and a great analogy. I love how he's going to unpack this.
Tried to openly buy the Republican Party and the Trump administration, and he found out that that's not how it works, right? And I think he's going to find out that that's not how it works when it comes to this America Party, right? Or so-called America Party, because hookers, yeah, they don't mind being openly bought and sold, right? Because again, they're street hookers, okay? But escorts, on the other hand, they can be bought, but there's a little bit of a finesse to it, right? There's more discreetness, and I think that's what Elon failed to recognize, and I think he still fails to recognize that. And I'm gonna get deeper into this subject because this is a fascinating topic. So, Elon put out his tweet on July 4th. He says, Independence Day is the perfect time to ask if you want independence from the two-party, some would say uniparty system. Should we create the America Party? And then you have him further elaborating. He says, one way to execute on this would be to laser focus on just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. Given the razor-thin legislative margins, that would be enough to serve as the deciding vote on contentious laws, ensuring that they serve the true will of the people. Yeah, so what Elon is saying here, what he has admitted, and this is, again, part of the reason why I think this is doomed, is that this is not a serious political party, in the sense that he is simply just trying to sabotage the midterms because he's upset that he didn't get what he wanted out of the Trump administration. And he's not, again, really trying to break the two-party system.
Well, I don't know. And I think sometimes you do need someone to come in and shake things up, someone to come in with a completely different viewpoint, different perspective. And as someone with money, you'll have people that will jump on the bandwagon with Elon Musk. But then you also have, so the thing about Elon Musk and also Trump is they're like magnets. You have these two really powerful magnets with the North and South Pole. So some people are automatically attracted to them and will align with whatever they do. But then you have the other side of things where no matter what they do, people will be repelled by them. And the great thing about that quite often is people without principles that are just attracted or repulsed by what these two individuals do, they won't be able to be consistent in their principles. Because remember, people used to love Elon Musk. The left, everybody loved Elon Musk until he started to get really political. And then the left and the Democrats hated him. But then when he said or did something to oppose Trump, they would align with that thing. So when people don't have a political true north or a consistent political, or I should say, a principled stance, they'll just go back and forth. What I see with people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and some people that are Democrats as well, some people just stand their ground. So I would say the same thing about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has been consistent. I don't necessarily agree with his political views, but he's been consistent. And I have to respect that. What I don't respect, though, is when when Hillary Clinton completely robbed him of the Democratic nomination, he still fell in line with the Democrats. I don't like that. He's starting to talk out a lot more now, but I don't like that he did that. But for the most part, most of his career, he's been consistent. And I think that's what I see with Trump and Elon. They have a principled stance on things, and they will stand by those principles even when it makes it politically inconvenient or it's going to be unpopular politically. But what Trump has learned, I think, in the 4 years that he was out of office, he's realized that this political system is something that you can't just go in with good ideas and change. There are people making tons of money generationally that is built around the way that this political system is built. They're not going to give that up. And this is also a reflection of the voters, because we won't vote for what's best for us in the long run. What we want to do is make sure that we're comfortable and safe in the short term, even if we know we're just delaying the inevitable. And, I'm a voter too, so I probably to a degree fall in line with that. But I do see that there's certain things that need to be done that would be politically unpopular, but they need to be done, because if they're not done now, at some point in the future, we're going to have to pay the piper.
More evidence of this is the fact that he retweeted Scott Adams, who says, if you are an analogy thinker, you compare Musk's New America Party to Ross Perot's third party run and conclude it is bad for Republicans. But that would only be the case if Musk someday backs an American Party candidate for president. And
Now, looking at me, you may not know, but I'm old enough to remember when Ross Perot ran for president. He was another person that people just made fun of. They said, even though he was a multimillionaire, I don't think he was a billionaire, but I guess in today's terms, he would have been a billionaire. So he ran for president, and they say that he ruined the election for the Republicans. That was a different day and age. Trump, in many respects, was viewed as a modern day Perot, Ross Perot. So make sure you look up Ross Perot and what happened in that election. But I think what the point that's being made here is that a lot of people feel that if there is a third party by Elon Musk, what it will do is undermine Republicans, and it might, but we don't know. This is a new day. We have to look at things through a new lens. We can't always look at how things were before social media. We have to consider the fact that one tweet can change people's minds, millions of people. And there's so many different pieces of technology that make it unlike any other era in human history.
I don't see that in his plan. If Musk only backs individual senators and representatives for his new party, as he has hinted, all he does is give Republicans a new way to get past politics to solutions the country wants and needs, such as deficit reduction. The beta version might be buggy, so no speed bumps. Yeah, so basically, Scott Adams here is saying that he doesn't see Elon backing an American Party candidate for president. And Elon retweeted this, basically implying that Elon, again, doesn't really see this being a thing in 2028, right? It's not so serious that he actually wants to run a candidate for president, which, again, I think backs up my theory that this is being done for revenge purposes only. But he does have some early interest in his new party. Like, for example, the great right-wing conservative, Mark Cuban, right, indicates he wants to become part of Elon Musk's new party, right? So Mark Cuban has expressed interest in this party. Also, another staunch MAGA Trump supporter, Anthony Scaramucci, has expressed interest in Elon Musk's party. Now,
So what
again,
they're doing here really is they're not expressing interest in Elon Musk's party. They're expressing or just displaying their Trump derangement syndrome. Mark Cuban is not happy with Donald Trump, and I think a lot of it is jealousy. We sometimes think that these really rich people are not like us as regular people, but they're jealous. Like they see someone like Donald Trump, and Mark Cuban reckons that he's way smarter than Donald Trump, and he was successful, and he's built multi-million and probably multi-billion-dollar tech companies. He's been on Shark's Tank. He probably looked at Trump and be like, man, that could have been me. And I think a lot of the billionaire class does that. And because they look at Trump and say, that should have been me, they're jealous and they hate him for the fact that he's been so successful and that he did something that a lot of them were considering doing, but just never went ahead and did. And so when you see people like Mark Cuban and then Anthony Scaramucci, who is just a footnote to history, I think the only reason why anybody cares what this man has to say is because he was part of the Trump administration, the first one, for like a hot minute. And then that created a platform for him. I think in finance, he's very accomplished and far more successful than a lot of people that would criticize him. But on the political spectrum, the only reason why people know his name or kind of know his name is because Trump gave him a chance in his administration and then fired him very publicly, very quickly.
This is why I'm telling you guys it is a mistake to assume that this is going to appeal to Trump supporters and that Elon is going to pill off Trump supporters and that this is going to help Democrats win. Because I don't think Elon Musk is politically savvy enough to actually really understand that what he's doing probably is going to backfire. The individuals that have shown early interest in his so-called new party is a center-left Democrat, okay, and a never-Trumper, okay? So that is his constituency. These are not Trump voters, right? And I think, honestly, that's who his party is going to appeal to, which would hurt Democrats, actually, okay? So I want to react to this clip here from Sky News Australia, their reaction to Elon forming his political party. And I'm going to get deeper into this because I really do think that Elon is not thinking very clearly about forming his new party. And it really shows his political ignorance, which honestly is getting astonishing at this point. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Christian, I want to ask you about this news, this breaking news about Elon Musk setting up his own America party or whatever it is. It's strange, you know, someone should make a film about the Elon Musk Donald Trump story. But what is this a publicity stunt? Is this serious? Obviously, it's no threat, but what does it actually mean in your opinion, Christian?
I think it doesn't mean very much. Musk gets, I don't know what he does beforehand, if there's a substance involved or not, but he gets on Twitter. This isn't just a one-night thing at 2 in the morning. He's been on this for a while, but it's clearly hurt feelings he has with Donald Trump. An independent party, it's probably meaningless. We have a Libertarian Party already in the United States. It's different than the Libertarian movement. The Libertarian Party usually gets a couple of points and takes them away from mostly Republicans. Then usually there's a Green Party or some other wacko party that takes a couple points from Democrats. The risk is if this rises to something like Ross Perot, who's a businessman who challenged George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton in 1992 and took 19% of the vote. There's a dispute among historians whether he took votes equally from both candidates or if, like me, you believe he took most of them from George H.W. Bush and let the Democrats win. But you remember Musk, we're 3 years from the election, and also he comes from Silicon Valley, and most Americans hate Silicon Valley. The idea that a billionaire who's born in South Africa is going to waltz in and tell us how to run the country. This has none of the populism of Ross Perot. The economy is in great shape, unlike 1992, where the 1990 recession was over, but times really weren't that good. Also, that 1992 election came on the heels of 12 years of Republican rule, and people were just ready for a change. They were ready to elect a baby boomer. Bad idea. Anyway, none of those factors are in play here, so I don't think it'll lead to much.
Yeah, I think this guy may.
I'm going to disagree with all of that simply because this is how they were talking about Trump when he originally said he was going to run. If you watch the channel, you'll probably see some of the Trump will never win videos that I have up. But it was that same thing. I'm not saying that, you know, Elon's third party will be successful, but we should pay attention to history in the sense that some things that we said were a joke or weren't serious or would never happen are now the reality. And even more so, we celebrate the fact that people didn't take Donald Trump seriously at first. Some people cringe at that fact and wish that they had taken him more seriously because then they could have probably blocked him from ever becoming president. But if we're sitting here saying, oh, it's just some South African, these are the same people that when Elon decided to back Trump were celebrating it. I just don't like this thing that we do where, you know, we only want the people that we support to say things that we want them to say. They're human beings. He has his own agenda. And I don't think that it's a bad agenda for him to be upset because he thought or felt or wanted to get things out of the Trump administration to benefit his company, and he didn't get those things. But no one's given. See, the thing is, what's so funny is the liberal media is celebrating this Elon Musk thing, but they're not highlighting the fact that if he's doing it out of jealousy, or if he's doing it out of revenge, rather, that it's because he didn't get what he wanted out of the Trump administration. And if that's the case, they should be saying, well, look, before we were criticizing Trump for just giving Elon Musk everything he wants as political favors in exchange for money. But now Elon is upset because allegedly he didn't get those things, but they're not pointing that out too. It's just really funny how they do this. But it will remain to be seen what happens. I think the play-by-play is entertainment, and I'm here to entertain you and inform you and share my view. But I think the play-by-play is often, it's not productive, because sometimes you need the passing of time to see and get more information to form an opinion. So I'm not going to rule Elon out here, and I'm not going to say that this third party won't be successful. Maybe it is revenge, and maybe it won't be successful, but we can only see in the passing of time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you share the video, and make sure that we do a concerted effort to try to get Black conservative perspective to 1 million subscribers. I get a lot of the content from him. I don't agree with everything he says, but it's a really good way of having a conversation about topics that I'm interested in and I know about. And then there's someone else online that has similar views, but also is able to bring forth views that I don't agree with that I can discuss. So I'll see you in the next video.